And welcome to the Simple Green U.S. Open of Handball Men's Semifinals Bottom Bracket at Los Caballeros Sports Village. We're in Fountain Valley, California. My name is Dave Vincent. We appreciate the fact that you've tuned in on this beautiful Saturday morning in Southern California, where Luis Moreno will go up against one of his latest foes, Charlie Shanks, who defeated him on this very court in the semifinals last year, in fact. This very tournament in the exact same position. Luis Moreno versus Charlie Shanks getting ready to start right now as Charlie exited the court. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in 60 seconds, so you stay close here at racefor8.com. More on the way.
My name is Bruce Fabrizio. In 1975, I invented Simple Green based on three principles. It had to be safer to use, it had to work, and it had to be completely made in America. From generation to generation, Simple Green has been cleaning everything from car engines and tools to kitchen counters and floors. No matter what you clean, indoors or outdoors, clean it with non-toxic, biodegradable Simple Green.
Working and working out takes a lot of energy. That's why I drink Zenergy. Feeling fantastic and looking good has never been easier. Science, extreme science for your active lifestyle.
We are back courtside for the announcements from our referee, John Bike, who is going to man the referee's circle here as Luis Moreno from Tucson, Arizona, originally from Hermosillo, Sonora, Mexico. Luis is part of the R48 Pro team that represented the WPH Elite at the World Championships. So is Charlie Shanks part of that team, who was also representing the WPH Elite squad at the World Handball Championships. And a quick point right there for Luis Moreno.
1-0.
Charlie Shanks from the northern part of Ireland, Armagh. He has a whole group of fans and friends watching at Clan Aaron at his old club. Also one of the guys that you would see often at the St. Paul GAC.
2-0.
Quickly though, Luis Moreno up 2-0.
Hold it.
Not sure what that stop of play was.
2-0.
Big setup for Charlie Shanks, and he hits it to the revolving door. Luis Moreno comes around and gets up in a flat roll from Charlie Shanks.
0, serving 2. Point. 1, serving 2. Short. Call stands. Second serve.
That type of serve is very effective against Luis Moreno.
Side out.
One of Luis's weaknesses in the past was a ball over his head with his left hand.
2, serving 1.
Taking any type of potential aggression away from Luis Moreno is a good formula. He's a shot maker, and he's able to create shots, though, with those amazing legs. And you
3,
see
serving 1.
a very fluent Luis Moreno right here. Now the guys are going to have a really long rest here, as tomorrow's final is more than 24 hours from this moment. So Paul Brady, who's already back at the hotel icing up and gearing up for tomorrow, trying to get as much rest as possible, and a terrible hand air there makes the side out. Charlie Shanks now in the box.
1, serving 3.
This is the first stop of season number 2 of the WPH's Race for 8, called the R48 Pro 2. That will go on tour in a couple weeks in Tucson, Arizona for stop number 2. And you can get in that if you'd like to participate as a pro qualifier or play alongside the Yes to Kids or Arizona State Championships.
Point.
And Moreno hits that ball into the ground.
2, serving 3. Short. He's appealing, call stands, second serve.
John Bike doing a good job refereeing this match here.
Side out. Three, serving 2. Point.
Luis gets a quick ace
4,
serve on that
serving
crack
2.
to the right, 4-2 now.
Side out.
And a quick side out. Luis Moreno was in that finals of the World Championships just 10 days ago where he
2,
lost to Paul
serving
Brady.
4.
He was up 13-2 in the first game. Paul Brady made it come back. Luis
Point.
pushed it to 19-14, and then Paul ended up winning 21-19
3,
with one of the
serving
best
4.
comebacks we've ever witnessed. We just saw Paul Brady almost lose a match to Sean Lenny. Little contact
Point.
there, fought through the pick. Referee finally calls the screen. Charlie Shanks can score points in bunches. He's a
3, serving 4.
powerhouse server down the right and the left. That's the serve right there that's got Charlie so many points. One of the
Side
things
out.
that Charlie Shanks has learned over the last 5 years or so is that you can have a great serve, but what do you do with it when you get a weak
4,
return?
serving 3.
Charlie has learned the first strike. It takes some players 30 years to develop that. Charlie realized a little late, but still soon enough, that that first strike is just as important as that amazing serve.
Replay.
That
Moreno
ball
serving.
hits Luis
Second
Moreno
ball.
around the revolving door.
4, serving 3. Point. I called it good. Call stands. 5, serving 3.
It's a fairly
Replay.
quiet crowd right now with two of the top players in the
5,
world here.
serving 3.
But I think the crowd's a little stunned with that play from Sean Lenning and Paul Brady that we just
Replay
witnessed.
that, sorry. There was early obstruction there. I thought he. 5, serving 3. Early obstruction, lead ball. Side out.
Little paddle kill right there. Charlie Shanks gets the side out, 3-5, first game.
3, serving 5.
There's 2 games of 21 tiebreaker
Nope.
played to 11. That
Side
ball
out.
doesn't make the front wall. It's kind of slow moving here in game number 1.
5, serving 3.
This is the bottom bracket semifinal. If you just tuned in, Paul Brady defeated Sean Lenning in one of the best matches we've seen since, well, the last time Paul was on the court.
Point.
Paul won 11-9 in that tiebreaker versus Sean Lenning. It was truly entertaining.
6, serving 3.
That video will be on demand and you can watch it later at racefor8.com. Later this evening, in fact.
Hold it, yep, same call. There's obstruction early, and he's not he gets, I just gave you the same thing. Yeah, play ball.
The referee's saying, I just gave you that same
Yeah, but
exact
he
call
he
just a
didn't-
couple
he came
seconds
from that
ago.
Side. He was going the right way the whole time. If he came from here, if he came from where you were, I wouldn't like that.
If
He
I
was
haven't,
moving
if I
to
wouldn't have
anticipate
won
where you
2
hit, and
national
that's where you hit it.
championships with this referee, I probably would say something. But I actually don't
He
agree
was
with that
as
call.
good a position as he could have been, but you're actually doing the exact same thing, so I'll do it both ways or neither way. 6, serving 3.
John Bike is a school teacher back in
Point.
Hesperia, California, and he's talking to Charlie Shanks as if he's one of the 4th
7,
graders
serving
here.
3.
I think sometimes you have to do that. I know my wife does.
Replay. Seven, serving 3.
Nice shot right there in the corner from Charlie Shanks. Gets that side out. Now serving at 3-7. This is the bottom bracket semifinal.
Serving 7.
WPH Race for 8 Pro season number 2 and Simple Green US Open of Handball. It's a Super Saturday, semifinal Saturday for that matter, because right after this we'll go outside where the big ball championships will take place. We have big ball 3-wall double
7.
semifinals, single semifinal, third place for both of those, then the finals later this evening, and that's going to be truly amazing, fun experience for those here at Los Caballeros Sports Village. But right now, though, 2 rivals, Charlie Shanks, Luis Moreno.
Short. Second serve.
Luis able to paddle that ball somehow.
Point.
Smart pop fist right there from Charlie Shanks. Now bringing it 5-7.
5, serving 7.
Little contact.
Point.
Nice paddle re-kill right there from Charlie Shanks. We tried to make Charlie the captain of the Race for 8
6, serving 7.
elite players in Ireland, but he wanted no part of that, which meant coordinating team photographs,
Second serve.
team dinners, and trips around the countryside.
Point.
And Charlie is now even the score at 7.
Seven, serving 7. Point. Eight, serving 7.
Score here is 8-7. It's a smart serve. I believe that underhand serve is the most effective against Luis. See Charlie's giving Luis Moreno a lot of back wall play here, trying to keep him away from his power, which is up front.
Point.
And another point for Charlie Shanks, now 9-7.
9, serving 7. Point.
And another point now for Charlie Shanks.
10, serving 7. Point.
And now another one, and we're going to see a timeout soon from Luis Moreno. Charlie Shanks is in
11,
a rhythm
serving
right
7.
now. This underhand serve is how you play Luis Moreno. Luis does not know how to defend it. He never has.
Point.
And there's another point. And now we're going to see the
Moreno,
timeout,
that's
and
your
we're also going to
first
take a timeout.
1
We'll be
minute.
back in
Score
60
is 12,
seconds.
Serving 7.
And .com.
My name is Bruce Fabrizio. In 1975, I invented Simple Green based on 3 principles. It had to be safer to use, it had to work, and it had to be completely made in America. From generation to generation, Simple Green has been cleaning everything from car engines and tools to kitchen counters and floors. No matter what you clean, indoors or outdoors, clean it with non-toxic, biodegradable Simple Green.
Working and working out takes a lot of energy. That's why I drink Zenergy. Feeling fantastic and looking good has never been easier. Science, extreme science for your active lifestyle.
Okay, Shanks is serving. Serving 7.
12-7 here is the score as we come back after that first timeout called from Luis Moreno, who is having trouble defending this lob serve from Charlie Shanks. And Charlie misses that corner kill, but Charlie certainly has the momentum and is in the driver's seat. And this is the formula to beat Luis Moreno and to frustrate him, is to go to the lob serve.
Side out. 12, serving 7. No, point.
And another point now for Charlie Shanks.
Good shot, pretty far away. 13, serving 7. Point.
Charlie Shanks down with 14-7 here. Game number 1 against Luis Moreno. Charlie down to his power serve again. Charlie Shanks says he loves these courts.
Side out.
He sees the ball well. He loves the ball. A lot of love coming from Charlie Shanks. His fiancee Mary is sitting courtside, and he plays better when she's here.
8, serving 14.
They'll be getting married in August of 2013.
They signed for him yesterday. They said they'd be here.
They're going to be getting married up in Belfast. Both players playing methodical here. Just waiting to see who's going to make the first mistake. That could be the first one. Now they're back down low. This usually ends low once it starts low. Luis Moreno gets that ball down the right wall, slides it past Charlie and gets the point there. And Luis Moreno's got some crowd support now. There is a picture of camera work there of Mary, Charlie Shanks' future wife.
9, serving 14.
Luis Moreno's all out of sorts. Charlie Shanks' lob serve has really put Luis Moreno in a
14,
bad position. Then Charlie
9.
went down to the hard serve and started getting points there once he got Luis out of rhythm.
Charlie Shanks is one of those guys that when he's in a rhythm, it just seems like he can hit any shot from anywhere on the court with either hand, including serves down both sides with unbelievable precision and power.
15, serving 9.
You know, a lot of Luis Moreno fans, Dave, just simply chalked up his loss at the Nationals to Charlie Shanks as Luis isn't motivated, Luis isn't playing well, giving no credit to Charlie Shanks, Dave. And Charlie Shanks is an unbelievable player.
16,
And you have to think,
9.
I believe, that that loss had much more to do with Charlie Shanks than Luis Moreno. This is a very tough matchup for Luis, Dave, because this is a guy that can score points on him with those ace serves and flat kills. And Luis is one of those guys that digs everything, but when Charlie kills the ball, the point's over.
Well, Charlie's on his game right now.
Oh, side
Well,
out.
there's the announcing curse.
Nine, serving 16.
Tough call there for Charlie, as that was a pretty good shot. Slight screen.
9, serving 16. Short. Second serve. Side out.
Just great shot making from Charlie. Pushing Luis back. Luis makes a forced error back there in the back left court.
16, serving 9.
And I'm sure, Dave, that there will be Luis Moreno fans that'll say, well, Luis is just flat. You know, he just won the world championship. Charlie just doesn't seem to get the credit I believe he deserves. This is a guy, Dave, that's been in 2 of the last 3 major championship finals, both of those on this court,
Side out.
and both times defeating Luis Moreno in the semifinals.
9, serving 16.
Charlie throwing his hands up there, Dave. Charlie has a really good underhand paddle shot, too. We talk about his power, but he's able to turn power into
I'll watch
paddle.
it. I might have missed that. I didn't call it. Point. 10, serving 16.
What was Charlie talking about? Was it the screen serve he felt? Like that ball looks like a screen even from this angle, but Luis pops it away, and I think some of the referees get lulled into seeing the result of that big
Timeout,
hook
Shanks.
serve.
That's your first. 1 minute. Score is 11-16.
You heard that timeout call. We're going to take a quick one. We'll be back in 60 seconds. Stay here at racefor8.com.
My name is Bruce Fabrizio. In 1975, I invented Simple Green based on 3 principles. It had to be safer to use, it had to work, and it had to be completely made in America. From generation to generation, Simple Green has been cleaning everything from car engines and tools to kitchen counters and floors. No matter what you clean, indoors or outdoors, clean it with non-toxic, biodegradable Simple Green.
Working and working out takes a lot of energy. That's why I drink Zenergy. Feeling fantastic and looking good has never been easier. Science, extreme science for your active lifestyle.
We are back here at
1 minute.
Los
for gloves.
Caballeros Sports Village in Fountain Valley, California, where Luis Moreno was down 16-7 at one point, now making a slight comeback, 16-11, and serving against one of his newly found foes, Charlie Shanks. Dave Fink in the booth with me. Dave, it's a gorgeous day out here. I know you live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and you have some great weather, but the players get distracted
Score
from,
is 11,
do you
serving
feel the
16.
location? Sometimes you go to a hot spot like this where we're just moments away from Disneyland and those amazing beaches from California.
Second
Well, I think
serve.
all these players have been to this club so many times that they probably have a routine. I know Charlie has favorite restaurants
Right
that
out.
he goes to on each night of the event. He'll actually go to Cheesecake Factory on Thursday night after his round of 16.
16.
Then Maggiano's on Friday night after his round of 8 match. And
16,
he
serving
doesn't tell
11.
me where he goes on Saturday night because he said, I've seen enough of you.
Charlie Shanks has a setup.
Of course, he won't.
Replay.
Of course, he won't eat with me, but just the fact that I'm in that restaurant, kind of lingering, he doesn't like.
16,
Of course, I'm
serving
by
11.
myself. It's kind of awkward.
Point.
Sounds awkward.
You were also by yourself there,
17,
which makes it
serving
even
11.
more strange. 2 people that know each other, but eating on opposite sides of the restaurant by themselves.
I made sure they put a table
Hold it.
that was facing your table, and then I turned my back and sat at the chair facing the opposite direction.
Yeah.
So you would be forced to look at my back.
Well, what happened was they had one table, but since we
17,
wouldn't sit
serving
together,
11.
you and I actually both waited for 30 minutes for our own table. But I still sent you the bill.
Appreciate
Side
that.
out.
Now another side out here. Moreno serving at 11-17.
Some people feel like you have to eat at the same table with someone to have it picked up, but not me.
11, serving 17. Point.
And now Luis trying to climb back into this first game that's been dominated
12,
by
serving
Charlie
17.
Shanks.
Court.
Luis is not shooting the ball, although he won the
Second
last rally with
serve.
a beautiful bottom board kill. He's trying to drive the ball about 2 or 3 feet high, and Charlie doesn't mind that ground and pound style. Is that an avoidable hinder, Dave? Luis points up to the ref and says something. He wanted some sort of slide call, but clearly that would have been visible.
Early in the rally, a slide on the right wall.
Luis will get this call.
I don't believe you.
Bounce.
Oh, no, no.
Anybody sees a
I told
slide,
you
I go
Luis
with
is
him.
going to get the call, Dave. There's
I
this-
did, and he did. He's right on the wall.
I agree with the call now that I
You
see
don't
it.
know, or you know it didn't slide. Replay.
I believe, Dave, watching the replay, and probably all 9 people in the gallery will also agree
12 serving 17.
that that ball did jump as it hit the floor. I think the slide was on the floor.
I saw it on the wall.
Side
So
out.
we're looking at 2 different things there.
Well,
The
usually
slide was
are.
up here. Was up here on the top part of the wall.
Really? Because the ball
Yeah.
hit the side wall about 3
No, it
inches
didn't.
high.
serving
No, it didn't.
12.
Really? Well, we can reload that
And we
replay.
will.
Okay. Right after this ace serve.
And I will never buy you dinner again.
No.
So really nothing
Point.
changes if it did hit low on the sidewall.
No, you'll
is
see.
what you're saying.
It didn't.
18
Right there.
serving 12.
Well, that's
It's
not
immediate-
up by the simple green sign where you initially pointed.
It's immediately on the front.
I mean,
You're unbelievable.
Pull it.
A lot of close play here between Charlie and Luis. And we saw that at the World Championships as well. Luis loves to
18
play
serving
close.
12.
He banks in behind the other player a lot. Don't know if that's a strategy thing or...
Point.
Charlie just looks so sharp right now.
Nineteen serving 12. Side out. Serving 19. Point. 13, serving 19.
Quietly, Luis trying to gather a couple points here against Charlie.
That's an amazing shot from Charlie,
Side
but
out.
Luis with the hand air. Dave, Luis Moreno, much like you and I, will need to pick up his game as this match progresses, or
Yep.
Luis will be knocked out of this event. You and I, though, Dave, will be secure in our positions, as we're actually the only two handball players that can put together a sentence, I believe, with the microphone.
Okay.
Not sure if that's saying anything, but it is a fact. We are fact keepers here.
We have a towel timeout. This is the men's semifinals, bottom bracket, Southern California handball here. A lot of fans in the stands at Los Cab. Watching Luis Moreno, our world finalist.
19, serving 13.
Amazing serve from
Point.
Charlie there after a little bit of a break. Charlie just comes out firing,
20,
Dave, with a cracked
point,
ace.
Serving 13.
The advantage Charlie has, Dave, is he's won matches like this before. He's not afraid to win, and he's won them against Luis Moreno.
Charlie plays really good on this court too.
Well, it's really everything
Right out.
working in Charlie's favor here. He loves this court, and he loves the ball, and he's a great player. So you put those three things
13,
together, Dave,
serving
and it's
20.
a guy that's very hard to beat. I believe, Dave, we'll see Charlie Shanks break through tomorrow and win his first ever major title.
Point.
Well, this one's not over with yet, Dave.
14, serving 20.
Luis Moreno serving.
Short. Second serve.
Luis Moreno virtually had no crowd support at the World Championships. Here he has Fred Lewis, Jeff Helam, Bruce Handelman, who
Hold it.
idolize Luis Moreno and follow him around from stop to stop. I wonder if that plays a part.
14, serving 20.
And Charlie Shanks, Dave, with a nice fake out there. It looked like he was going to hit a tomahawk drive back down the left. Instead, takes a half a step back and lets the ball drop, forces Luis to commit
20, serving 14.
to hanging on his back foot. And Dave, Charlie Shanks now will tie his shoes before this serve at 20. Dave, Charlie Shanks, coming off a shoe tying in the server's box, has hit aces 38% of the time.
20, serving 14.
Well, in that case, he probably should just tie his shoes on every shot.
Well, he hits aces 17% of the time he serves without tying his shoes.
Okay. Maybe he should get Velcro.
And Luis with a beautiful re-kill. Didn't rush that shot.
14, serving 20. Side out.
And Charlie, Dave, with a flat rollout mouse in the right corner, threaded the needle.
20, serving 14.
Oh, an amazing serve
First
from
game,
Charlie. That's
Charlie
the Luis
Shanks,
Moreno
21,
finishing move,
14.
Dave. That's like Hulk Hogan dropping the leg when he's got his man down. Charlie Shanks going with the patented closing reverse down the middle of the court. Luis Moreno couldn't even take a swing at this. He just got Luis Moreno'd to close out game number one, Dave. And much like what we saw at the Four-Wall Nationals, Charlie Shanks winning the first game pretty easily. It was 21-10 there at the Nationals, 21-14 here, but you didn't really sense Luis Moreno was threatening to win this game.
Luis didn't, he only looked good very early on, but later on it was really the pressure that Charlie Shanks was putting on Luis Moreno that allowed Charlie to continue and get those points. We're going to take a timeout. For Dave Fink, I'm Dave Vincent. Stay around. Game number 2, bottom bracket semifinals, race for 8, season number 2, here at the Simple Green U.S. Open of Handball. You stick with us.
Working and working out takes a lot of energy. That's why I drink Zenergy. Feeling fantastic and looking good has never been easier. Science, extreme science for your active lifestyle.
My name is Bruce Fabrizio. In 1975, I invented Simple Green based on 3 principles. It had to be safer to use, it had to work, and it had to be completely made in America. From generation to generation, Simple Green has been cleaning everything from car engines and tools to kitchen counters and floors. No matter what you clean, indoors or outdoors, clean it with non-toxic, biodegradable Simple Green.
Rethink what you know about this Vegas icon. Elevate your expectations at the Stratosphere Hotel, Casino, and Tower. See what's new, up, down, and all around.
Are you getting this, honey?
Oh, prime time. We are rolling.
All right, Mama's gonna bring it home. Mama's gonna bring it home. Okay.
Come on, watch this guy.
Oh, backwards.
Oh, don't. Oh,
It went into Bob and Carol's yard. Oh, no? Okay,
Yeah.
here it goes.
oh no!
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
All right, let's see what you can do. Let's go.
They might surprise you. Search We Can. for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
My life is full of statistics. Thing is, I could have dropped out of school and become one myself, but I didn't because I had people that believed in me. Here's another statistic. 7,000 students drop out every school day. That's one every 26 seconds. It's time that students know that we believe in them.
Inspire a student and share your message of support at boostup.org.
At shelters, you'll discover healthy and loving animals just waiting to become a part of your family. Why wait? You can make a difference in the life of an animal. A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person and adopt your new best friend today. To find out more, visit theshelterpetproject.org.
Here we go. We're gonna make some juice.
It's gonna be good.
She's excited. A little bit of kale.
Please don't put this on. I'm putting it all over the line.
It's wet. It needs something. No, it'll go.
Don't break my juicer. Looks good.
You ready to try it?
Come on, baby.
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
It's okay.
Okay. All right.
They might surprise you.
Hey, she took another sip. You saw it?
Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
My name is Bruce Fabrizio. In 1975, I invented Simple Green based on three principles. It had to be safer to use, it had to work, and it had to be completely made in America. From generation to generation, Simple Green has been cleaning everything from car engines and tools to kitchen counters and floors. No matter what you clean, indoors or outdoors, clean it with non-toxic, biodegradable Simple Green.
Working and working out takes a lot of energy. That's why I drink Zenergy. Feeling fantastic and looking good has never been easier. Science, extreme science for your active lifestyle.
Shanks to serve the second game. Zero, serving zero. Replay.
Luis Moreno starting slowly here in game number 2 with an unforced error.
Sorry? Just replay. Zero, serving zero. Short.
Game number 2 here at the Simple Green U.S. Open
Second
2012 men's second semifinal. The winner here will face Paul Brady tomorrow at noon Pacific Standard Time. Charlie Shanks won game number 1. Luis Moreno did not look like the guy that won 5 of 8 pro stops last season, as Charlie Shanks did exactly what he wanted to do in game number 1, which is impose his serve
0 serving 0.
and his aggressive style of play. Luis
Short.
Moreno will need to up his intensity a little bit to stay with Charlie
Second
Shanks,
serve.
who has a tendency to get on a roll and not look back.
Point.
Luis just does not look as quick on his feet as he needs to be right now. That was a shot that generally Luis picks up,
1 serving 0.
but that time didn't have quite enough speed.
Point.
And Luis with a terrible error there. It looked like he tried to take something off of a
2
38-foot
serving
kill
0.
shot.
Luis thought about it.
And Dave, I know you know the feeling. Being Charlie Shanks right now, he knows.
Huh?
Charlie wants that call. He thought it was a
You
screen.
guys are.
Luis is just going to say, I played through it.
Back here, nothing looked wrong to me. I mean, you guys, you're playing your own. You're doing your thing here. I didn't see anything wrong.
Well, it was a screen. Charlie was screened by Luis. You'll see it right,
Don't. You mean when
right there. Luis stayed right in the way of the ball.
Don't
And
stop.
even though that camera angle doesn't really pick it
stopped
up,
after
Charlie
the poor shot?
didn't see the ball. I would
I agree
say
with
for
you.
at least 50% of
Yeah.
the flight of that ball.
And he couldn't see the ball check up on the back
I
wall,
didn't
which is
see
why he was so
anything
out of
unusual
position,
there.
because that's when he lost the ball.
Like it happens sometimes on back walls. Yes, I've seen it many times. It just nothing looked wrong there to me. That happens sometimes. We have the focus. Right.
I agree, Dave, with what Charlie's saying right now.
I think I understand what you're saying, but I didn't make the call, and you can't just stop. No, there's no appeal on a judgment like that.
It's a very
Yeah,
interesting
I see
situation,
you
and I
guys
know
call-
what Charlie's saying, and I agree with him. Had it hit the middle of the back wall, it wouldn't have mattered that he was screened because he would have been in position, but since it hit
Side
lower on the
out.
back wall and took a strange
0
bounce,
serving
he
2.
never saw the ball and therefore was in the wrong position.
Well, what I believe is that Charlie obviously couldn't see the ball, but the referee's looking down, so he gets to see the flight of the ball the whole time. He sees the position of the players, and
Yeah.
he doesn't really understand that there is a complete shield going on there.
1 serving 2.
Well,
We
Dave,
get to
that
see
was-
it from a different angle, so we can kind of see exactly what Charlie's talking about. But the referee's looking right down on the play, so he gets to see everything.
Dave, we logged 30,000 hours of handball last year, and we didn't see one play that resembled that. That's just one of those
2
freakish
serving
type
1.
things.
Short. Second serve.
This is the time in the match, Dave, that Charlie will really want to try and put his foot down and really break Luis mentally, if he can.
Point.
Luis just looks very sloppy right now, uninspired.
3 serving 1.
Luis looks all out of sorts. People were talking about a Luis
up.
Moreno Paul Brady rematch, and I could be, to blame as much as
1-3.
anybody, but you can't look past Charlie Shanks or any of the top pro players.
Well, you see Luis, Dave, when he gets frustrated, amazing shot from Charlie Shanks, able to absorb the Luis Moreno power. But when Luis gets frustrated, he either starts hitting a lot of those sort of soft finesse type shots that don't really work, or he just starts blasting the ball as hard as he can, which also doesn't really work.
3 serving 1. Point.
Could this be, Dave, the major championship jinx
4
for Luis
serving
Moreno?
1.
You see so many players, Dave, in other sports that are really right at the top of the sport, but for whatever reason, they can't win the majors. You see Adam Scott in golf, Dave, Sergio Garcia. These guys have proven they're the best players in the world. Andy Murray was one of those guys until he finally broke through this year. They beat all these guys
Side
in
out.
other tournaments, but yet for some reason they get to the majors and either it's psychological or they just don't seem to have their best game on that week. Probably a combination.
Point.
And Charlie Shanks scoring another point, and I agree with what you're saying. But Luis Moreno needs to go in with that fire, and we don't see any fire from Luis Moreno here.
Well, Charlie Shanks is a fireman right now as he's extinguishing fires. I mean, Dave, you know, you try and start a bonfire and somebody comes in and throws 8 gallons of water all over it. It's not going to work. That's what Charlie Shanks is doing.
Point.
And Charlie throws a reverse on that fish shot. Luis doesn't read it. Luis is facing the front wall rather than squaring himself. He had time to square himself there and didn't do it.
6 serving 1. Replay.
And Luis very fortunate to hit Charlie with the ball there. That would have been a huge setup.
6 serving 1. Point.
Playing Shanks yesterday, Dave, there's actually serves he hits that you think are going to be 4 feet short, and they clear the line by a foot. It's like his ball explodes. It hits the front wall.
7 serving 1.
7, 8 inches high. And immediately, Dave, you just reach down to pick up the ball like it's going to be short, and the ball's over the line by a foot, and you're standing there frozen. I'm not sure I've ever experienced anything like that before, but I think you probably know what I'm talking about, having played Luis Moreno. I mean, your natural instinct is just to bend down to pick up the ball, to give it to him for a second serve, and then all of a sudden it's over the line by a foot.
No, and I've seen it many times where you just give up because you think it's short, and then it's another free point, and then he gets more momentum and more confidence because he's hitting the shot that he's actually aiming for. And so you're sitting back there wondering what just happened while he's rolling off 3 or 4 in a row because there's contact there. Charlie Shanks is not going to like that.
Well, I agree with Charlie there.
He can call that quickly.
Well, he can call a little bit of contact, but does he have a chance to make that play?
Unless I think he couldn't have reached it. Score is 1 serving 7.
Charlie Shanks is also a get artist, similar to an Andy Nett who uses his height and long reach to track down everything.
I'm out.
It's pandemonium in here right now, Dave. There's hinders that maybe shouldn't be called, doors flying open, screens being called that maybe aren't.
But that's what we call handball.
Score is 1 serving 7.
You heard the score there at 1-7. Luis needs to do something. You think with the times that Luis has played Charlie, he'd realize the serves that do work and don't work with Charlie. You see, Charlie's one of those typical guys that you and I talk about that are a machine, where you have to figure out how to break the machine down. I don't think Luis has really figured that out.
Charlie has made 4 just unbelievable gets in this rally.
Make it 5.
Even if he doesn't win this rally, it's going to be replayed. It puts so much pressure on Luis to know that he hit a perfect serve, a really good first strike. Charlie Shanks still in the rally, and then later in the rally, Charlie's still making amazing retrieves.
Serving 7.
It's actually just remarkable watching Charlie Shanks play sometimes.
Well, Dave, I agree with you to some extent about
serve.
Charlie's approach, but he doesn't play like the typical Irish player. He has some of the craziest shots that you'd never expect or see from anyone else, and he seems to just make them consistently.
2 serving 7.
I don't know what kind of machine that is. It's almost a hybrid.
Well, I'm just saying that Luis Moreno needs to figure out the machine. Look, Charlie just kills the ball right in front of Luis, standing in front of him. That's a guy that came out here to win today. Charlie Shanks looks like he's the guy to beat here in this tournament.
But that's what I'm saying, Dave. A machine would wrap that ball around or throw it up to the ceiling. Charlie Shanks flat kills it right in front of Luis. I don't know where that program is written to shoot in front of your opponent from 38 feet with your offhand when he's in the server's box. Maybe you program differently than I do. I know you do use
8 serving 2.
Pascal.
Huh.
It was a throwback.
I'll get back to you when I figure out what you're talking about.
Okay.
Point.
And Dave, this match is now getting out of
Here we
hand
go.
as
Back in the box.
John Vike trying to speed up play here as Charlie was taking a
9,
victory lap
serving
after that
2.
beautiful back wall kill.
Charlie says, or Bike says, Charlie, back in the box.
Well, you know, Dave, when you hit such a great
Point.
shot, sometimes you want to just savor it. Take it all in.
10 serving 2.
Charlie Shanks is just walking this one.
Short.
Well, he's making it look easy, Dave, but he's just playing
Second
flawless
serve.
handball. He's actually my pick at this point to win this event. I'll admit that he wasn't my pick coming in. I'm not going to do what you do and jump on the bandwagon in the middle of a tournament, but
Side out.
Sounds like you are, though.
well, I'm stating though openly he wasn't my pick, but now that we're down to 3
serving
players,
10.
he is my pick.
All right. Really looks like we're down to just
Well,
2 players here.
Technically, we're down to 3.
Point.
2.5, maybe.
3 serving 10.
Charlie trying to make this an All-Ireland final 2
Aren't
years
they
in a
all?
row.
Replay. Three serving 10.
We're at 3-10 here with Moreno trying to get some type of run. Crowd's very quiet here.
One of Luis Moreno's biggest
I
fans,
know.
Dave, stopping by the booth, hoping maybe that'll change the momentum.
It didn't.
He didn't get the memo, Dave, that it wasn't wear your pajamas to the
10,
match day.
Serving 3.
That's tomorrow.
Mm.
Here in Southern California, you wear your pajamas everywhere you go.
Well, good thing it's not Naked Wednesday.
Point.
And another point there.
Charlie's not only winning points with kills, also with aces and pass shots. Very difficult to ace Luis Moreno, and it's very difficult to win points on pass shots against Luis Moreno.
11 serving 3.
Flat rolls work against everybody, but Charlie Shanks is winning points in all sorts of ways.
He's doing everything here.
I feel like you're not giving Charlie Shanks enough credit, Dave. I'm frustrated by that.
Well, I'm not trying to be a front runner like you.
I'm just giving credit where credit's due.
Point.
That was an amazing shot from Charlie
That's
Shanks.
better.
Better?
That's much better.
Thank you.
But you're still on probation.
Okay. I probably deserve that.
12 serving 3. Point.
Unbelievable serve from Charlie Shanks, and that's not even overstating it, Dave. That's a serve that hits the front wall 8 inches high, catches the right side crack 1 inch past the short line, and rolls out flat.
13 serving 3.
You heard the call from the referee. 13-3. Now we saw this almost same exact score. In fact, it was the same score when Paul Brady was making that comeback against Luis Moreno
Side out.
at the World Championships. The only difference was that was the first game. This is game 2 after Luis has already lost the first one.
serving
So if
13.
Luis does come back and forces a tiebreaker, Charlie Shanks is still going to
Side out.
have the momentum because Luis will have to really try hard here.
So let me figure out the similarities again. It's
The
not
same
the
score.
same round.
13
Same
It's
score.
serving 3.
It's a different game,
Same
and
score.
it's the player that was leading now trailing.
Same score.
Point.
Luis has a very good return of serve, but there's nothing you can do, Dave. I played Charlie Shanks on this court yesterday. There were returns I hit where I actually couldn't believe I even got my hand on the ball. I felt
14,
lucky to even
serving
touch
3.
it. These serves were so fast and so close to the wall.
Point.
And another ace, and now Luis Moreno, Dave, actually being embarrassed in here.
15
The number
serving
1
3.
player on the Race for 8 tour has no answers.
Slide on the floor.
And that time it looked like another ace, but our referee bailing out Luis Moreno. He was like GM there.
Just shaking my head here in the
15
booth.
serving 3.
Anytime you go political, it just turns
Yeah.
out to be a complete mess.
Well, I try though.
Oh, that ball sounded like it broke.
Oh, terrible shot from Luis. Dave, he could have hit that ball 100 miles per hour and won the point, hitting it anywhere. Instead, he just Tap the ball right at Charlie.
16, serving 3.
Luis is all out of sorts here.
Short.
And this one's virtually over.
Second
Actually, I've
serve.
already etched the name in. Back in the old days when we first started this broadcast, we would just take our headsets off and leave during the last few minutes.
No, side out.
Kind of like the fans at Chavez Ravine after, or right before Kirk Gibson hit that home run against Dennis Eckersley.
But don't worry, there's still 2 million people that'll tell you they were in that stadium when he hit that home run.
It was only about 35,000 at that point.
Very similar to the immaculate incompletion
Hold it.
when the Steelers beat the Raiders. I know you don't go back that far. You don't study your sports that well.
Point.
And Luis now with 1/4 the amount of points as Charlie Shanks,
serving
or
16.
you might call it 4-16.
Short.
Your head shaking has actually
Second
become
serve.
audible now.
You're unbelievable. Just unbelievable.
Side out.
And Charlie has just ripped the heart out of Luis Moreno at this point. Luis doesn't know what to do,
16,
doesn't have
serving
answers
4.
for Charlie right now.
Charlie's just able to get all of those good shots from Luis when Luis makes a good shot, which has been few and far between.
Side
And
out.
there's another good shot from Luis Moreno. Charlie doesn't get it.
Well, Luis has to hit 3 or 4 great shots to win a rally.
4, serving 16.
Charlie does not make a lot of hand airs on balls that are hit really hard right at him.
Side out.
After this, WPH goes outdoors.
16, serving 4.
At which time, Dave, we will shake hands and say goodbye to one another probably forever.
I'm actually going to hold you to that. I'm not joking.
Side out.
And Charlie Shanks almost makes a circus pickup there.
4, serving 16.
For those of the four-wall players that have tuned in masses here on this live broadcast, if you want to see something truly amazing, watch the big ball play that you're going to see a little later on this morning, I believe at 11 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, which is about 20 minutes or so. That's about the time we believe this match will conclude. We'll be moving our equipment out there to the big ball courts. It's a really neat scene, Dave. I know that you have a bad back, a pinched nerve, maybe a compressed disc, and you'll be getting massages and a pedicure. But you should try to make this match, Dave, if not one, to be fired from the WPH, two, because I believe it'll be something that you just have never seen before. And I know the guys, they're fun-loving group of people that play the big ball scene and are truly respectable of your commentary and love what you've provided for handball. And I think that you need to be part of that community with your patronage. Maybe I'm wrong.
Reminder, 11 a.m., the action gets going outdoor on the exhibition big ball court.
It's like John's listening.
Doubles, big ball semifinals, 11 o'clock outdoors.
I don't know, Dave, if there'll be
Resuming play
room
here, score is
for this
16, serving 4.
gigantic gallery that's packed in here to the show court. I mean, there's only about 1,000 seats outside, Dave.
Point.
Charlie Shanks, Dave, is absolutely a man possessed right now. He's hitting shots, Dave, that I believe we've only seen
17,
from
serving
Paul
4.
Brady at his very best.
I'm going to predict a Charlie Shanks win in the finals tomorrow.
It's too late. I've already secured that. Locked it in.
Okay, then I'm going to predict a Paul Brady win tomorrow in the finals. And I have sand.
As do I.
Okay.
Point.
Well, let's put it together.
Okay.
How many bags?
I'm going to say
18, serving 4.
40 bags.
Okay. I hope you pay up your sand better than the Irish fellow, the Irish guys that
19, serving
avoided
4.
seeing me for the last few days when all those bags were on the line. And you know who I'm talking about, Chris Curran. And
if you think an Irishman doesn't like you, win a bet against them and find out how much you see them.
Oh, sorry.
if you think you're seeing somebody too much in Ireland, just win a bet sometime. You'll never see him again.
20, match point, serving 4.
20 serves 4 here. Charlie Shanks. And there it is.
That's
Charlie
the match.
Shanks
Charlie
takes down
Shanks,
Luis Moreno.
21-14, 21-4. He will play Paul Brady in the final at noon tomorrow.
This could be another all-Irish final here at the Simple Green U.S. Open of Handball and race stop number 1. This, for the rankings, Dave, puts Charlie Shanks and Paul Brady way high on the list, doesn't it?
Well, I don't believe, Dave, that Charlie Shanks can jump over Luis Moreno with this result here, even if he were to win tomorrow. We'll have to crunch the numbers. I know you and I will do that tonight. But certainly Charlie Shanks will be moving up. He will move past Nadi Alvarado Jr. into at least the number 3 spot. Now, Paul Brady, depending on if the World Championships counts towards the rankings, I was under the impression that it didn't. However, Dave, there's talk from you that maybe you want to go back and rewrite the rule book.
No, I made no talk on that.
Okay.
I know there was a vote that said no prior to the tournament, and I think they hold true to that. What I was saying is the World Championships should be part of the power rankings, and the race standings are obviously just the race standings.
I was also, that's what I was speaking about, was the power standings. I didn't believe the World Championships were part of the power standings.
Well, I believe they should be, and that's where
so you do want to rewrite the rule
I think
book
they
then.
should be part of the power rankings, but not part of the race
rankings.
rankings.
There was never a discussion of them being included in the race standings.
Well, it is now. I've just made that discussion. So we'll find out what that is tonight. Well, here's what I'd like for you to do.
Okay.
Let's go back, crunch the numbers.
Okay.
We now know who's in the finals. Let's do one set of numbers if Paul wins and one set of number if Shanks wins, and then we'll at least have those ready, and then we'll know how to report on it. In the meantime, though, we're going to take a break. We're going to move outdoors. We have the semifinals of the doubles big ball action on the 3-wall court that is constructed out here where Maria Sharapova used to play on this tennis show court. We'll be back in approximately 20 minutes or so, 30 minutes or so as we make that transition. For Dave Fink and the rest of the crew, I'm Dave Vincent. Thanks for tuning in for the Simple Green U.S. Open of Handball.
There are a million places you'd never consider texting. So why would you do it while driving? Leave risky driving to the professionals. Stop the texts, and together we can stop the wrecks.
Working and working out takes a lot of energy. That's why I drink Zenergy. Feeling fantastic and looking good has never been easier. Science, extreme science for your active lifestyle.
My name is Bruce Fabrizio. In 1975, I invented Simple Green based on 3 principles. It had to be safer to use, it had to work, and it had to be completely made in America. From generation to generation, Simple Green has been cleaning everything from car engines and tools to kitchen counters and floors. No matter what you clean, indoors or outdoors, clean it with non-toxic, biodegradable Simple Green.
Are you getting this, honey?
Oh, prime time. We are rolling.
All right, Mama's gonna bring it home. Mama's gonna bring it home. Okay.
Come on, watch this guy.
Oh, backwards.
Oh, don't. Oh.
It went into Bob and Carol's yard. Oh, no? Okay, here it goes.
Oh, no!
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
All right, let's see what you can do. Let's go.
They might surprise you.
Let's go.
Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.